Yeehaw!
Ha! It's the most wonderful time of year again that isn't Halloween.
The Stampede.
Yes. It's our mid-year movie roundup.
It is.
If you weren't here last year, first of all, shame on you. And then second of all, what this is, our mid-year movie roundup is basically our time to take a little time in the summer and talk about all the movies we've watched this year that we haven't, for any reason, decided to do a full episode on. Either because we didn't get time for it, or it wasn't worth a full discussion about, or...
That's our implied review, is that it's worth talking about for 10 minutes, but not 60.
Either because it was surprisingly good, surprisingly bad, or any other reason. It's just a random smattering of things. And this is going to be Video Game Donkey style, so this is a top list of things we watched this year.
Yeah.
Not necessarily, they won't all have come out in 2025. Most of them are...
One of mine came out this year?
Yeah, all recently.
Two.
New releases. Last 2 or 3 years-ish,
Yeah.
I think. So that'll be it. We're just going to go back and forth. We're going to talk about some movies, so we'll crack open a cold one and put your feet up and hang out for the mid-year movie roundup. Yeehaw! Avery, why don't you kick us off with the first thing you want to talk about here in our mid-year movie roundup?
Let's do it. I watched, I got some start off with some horror pictures, and I watched one that I'm hoping, we've talked about, and I'm hoping isn't on your list. It's a picture from last year called No One Will Save You.
No.
You haven't seen it?
I don't even think I've heard of it.
Okay. All right. So this
If we
is...
talked about it, I completely forgot.
There you go. No One Will Save You is a film that I want to start by saying that you should go into it completely unspoiled. So
Shut the video off.
I'm about to ruin this for you, and you guys might want to skip ahead a little bit.
I'm glad we're doing this first.
Well, you know what it is. I am going to talk about it in some non-spoiler terms, but okay. I think this film, I knew almost literally nothing about it, and I really enjoyed that experience, and I'm going to talk a little bit about why. Yeah. The pitch I'll give, if you're just going to skip this or watch it and come back.
Elevator pitch.
This is, it is a movie about aliens. It stars Caitlin Dewars, the lead from Booksmart.
Oh, yeah, she's...
Yep.
Davers?
Denver's? Something. What?
Denver's? The Last of Us Abby girl, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, she's great.
She's great. That is who that is. Yeah. And this is a extremely well-crafted movie that looks and sounds brilliant. And I didn't look the budget up, I didn't look the filmmaker up, but punched above where I was expecting in all technical aspects, really well put together. And I had a fantastic time kind of unraveling this film.
Okay.
That's where I'd leave that there for if you want it totally unspoiled,
okay.
Which is how I'd recommend doing it. Sorry to you. Sorry to any of you guys who aren't going to click off.
If you do want, I'll have timestamps. So if you want to jump to the next movie, please do.
To talk about it in more detail but non-spoiler terms, the first thing about this that I didn't know going in, this film has exactly one line of dialogue.
Oh.
It is completely, and
normally you'd build your whole marketing around something like that.
Yeah, you would. And maybe they did. I don't know, but I didn't. And it's largely organic. So her character, she lives on her own. She inherited a house kind of out in the woods, and there's plot reasons why she's kind of on her own. And she can speak. And they just kind of deftly get around it where she just doesn't.
So she's by herself?
She's by herself. Okay. She lives alone. She spends most of the movie either by herself or at least she doesn't have a gang, right? And so there is just no dialogue. She gasps. There's music on, but she does not say anything up for 90% of the film. And it is a gimmick, but it's one that I thought worked really well. The horror of this movie, it is an alien invasion film, and it has a lot of broad overlap. It's the gray aliens with the big eyes and the flying saucers show up. So they're allowing kind of War of the Worlds and some of that stuff to do some heavy lifting. You get it, right? And a lot of the things overlap. But what I enjoyed so much about this film is because there's no dialogue, it really lets you kind of discover what's happening along with the character in a way that I found incredibly compelling. Because she starts off with one alien shows up. And then it kind of goes from there. And she keeps encountering more aliens and more things that they're doing. And much worse films have the whole scene of the general like, here's the aliens, they have the ray guns and they have this and we've got to find this and we've got to fly the nuke and right. It's so far removed from that like you are right there alongside this character figuring out, like learning all these new things and navigating around them. And I just found that experience so compelling with the no dialogue. And then the filmmaking was really important here too, because no one's talking, it's just scene to scene of her encountering another alien or another alien thing. But the fact that this film was brilliantly put together, technically, like the sound in this is amazing. And that did so much to make, and like the sets and the effects, there's a lot of practical stuff, the aliens look great.
It's interesting they look great, but also look like gray big eye aliens.
Yeah.
It's good, cool to pull that off.
Yeah, and that was kind of one of those things where I'm like, man, they had more money than I thought. Like it was definitely practical costumes with CGI, and it crossed that barrier for me of like I think it looked better than the aliens in A Quiet Place. I'll say that. It definitely just objectively looked better. There were just so many scenes that were just brilliantly tense of just her. Reminded me a lot of stuff like Don't Breathe and Hush, right? These films where it's just like a very enclosed scene of one person and the antagonist in a room, kind of like dancing around each other and figuring out what each other are doing. And then there is this really kind of compelling mystery to it, because once you get past these are the little gray men and they're doing the alien things and the flying saucers and all that, there is something more to it that, again, no dialogue, it's not really explained by the end of the film. You get bits, and it was a very cool experience trying to kind of figure out from just little snippets where she like looks over a counter and sees the alien doing something and you're like, what's he doing? What's he up to? And like the next alien's doing something totally different and you're like, what's going on there?
That's smart.
Yeah.
To have a mystery within a more conventional alien invasion film.
Absolutely, yeah, and I thought that was great. In this sort of unconventional storytelling mechanism where there's no dialogue, figuring out what's going on alongside the character and really kind of living in her head was very cool. No, yeah, I thought this was absolutely brilliant.
Wow.
Shout out
well, it's on my list now. That's a good recommendation.
There you go. And you know who you are that recommended this to me. So thank you for that. Good job.
Well, I don't know if you were reading my script, because it's really weird how many times you hit on this. Because the movie I want to talk about is A Quiet Place Day One. I'm not joking.
So fair. I remember you saying you liked this. And that it was unconventional. That's all I know about it.
Yeah, so it came up. I mean, I guess I want to address we've never talked about The Quiet Place on the channel before, really. I think they're fine.
They're fine.
I don't have a strong feeling about them. I think people that love these movies are generally people that just don't watch horror movies, and it's like, it's the one they saw, and it's really well put together technically.
Yeah.
Like, it's really well directed, and it's very well acted. So I understand getting swept up in it if you're not a big horror buff. I think if you were to watch a lot of horror movies, A Quiet Place is kind of like the mainstream packaging of a lot of ideas we've seen done a million times, which isn't a bad thing. I'm not trying to get up on my high horse here, but it
is a little film schooly and just like what if aliens when...
Right, it's a gimmick movie.
It is a gimmick movie.
But John Krasinski did an excellent job directing it. Like, from a technical standpoint, they really work well. And there's some really good filmmaking behind them. Like, the opening sequences of A Quiet Place 1 and 2 are really what stand out to me in memory. Yeah. Outside of that, I don't remember a ton about them. I don't feel strongly about this franchise, and I certainly wasn't planning to watch Quiet Place prequel as the third movie.
Which certainly felt like a 3.1 on IMDb, somehow made way too much money, no chance I'm ever gonna see it. That's what I expected.
That's what I expected, and that's why I didn't watch it. And then I realized it was directed by the guy who directed Pig, which I loved. Pig is fantastic. Yeah. One of my favorite movies I watched in the last couple of years. I always forget about it, but I loved Pig. Amazing Nick Cage performance, you should watch Pig. They got that guy, which they do sometimes, right? Like, they'll pick up small indie directors, the guy who did...
like Flanagan for Ouija 2.
Yeah, or the guy who did Krampus and Trick or Treat, doing the, like, kaiju movies.
Yeah.
They always do this. So it's like, it doesn't mean it's gonna be good, but I wanted to check it out. This movie's fantastic.
You seem so baffled.
I was really baffled. I threw it on as a popcorn flick for myself. I'm like, you know what? I actually heard good things. I'll just see what's going on here.
No.
So the premise is that it's a prequel. It is day one. It is the day that the aliens landed on Earth. The aliens that have super sensitive hearing, and if they hear you, they kill you. But it's set in downtown New York. It's set in Manhattan, midweek workday, That's the setting. So this movie works for a lot of reasons, but I want to go into one of my main gripes about the first two movies is that the whole premise, your gimmick, is you can't make noise. These aliens will kill you if you make noise. And you set it on a rural farm with a family who has a deaf daughter so they communicate exclusively in sign language. That's already quiet. If you're trying to play up the tension of like, how will they stay quiet? It's like that family's really good at being quiet, and there's probably families in rural US with deaf family members who are as quiet as the people in A Quiet Place for no reason.
Fair.
Like, it's like the least interesting thing. Now, the twist they put on it is the baby. She's pregnant. And the birthing stuff there's some excellent sequences.
Remembering that was the best part. Yeah.
With the baby. But before the baby, they're just like farming and like playing board games. And I'm like,
it is a weird choice.
I'm like, this is all just quiet stuff. It's not that scary.
It was a weird choice to set it like they already know it everything. They know.
And it's the quietest place in the world. So it's kind of easy to stay quiet until you're pregnant. But it comes in later.
Yeah.
So day one is set in New York, middle of the work week. No one knows sign language. It really gives you the best setting for this premise, and it lets you play with it a lot more. And this is an early scene, so it's not spoilers, but that's exemplified best. Lupita Nyong'o is like knocked unconscious right after the outbreak. She wakes up in this dark place, and she's immediately going to start yelling, like, and all these people put their hands on her mouth. She doesn't know who they are. They're all strangers. And they just have to convince her, without making any noise, to be quiet. They're just like, don't make... So eventually, when they think they have her to sign up, they remove their hands, and she's quiet. And they guide her into this room of like 150 people, maybe more, and everyone's just silent. They're all survivors. They're all people that have like survived the initial outbreak. No one knows what's going on. And no one can explain to anyone why you're being quiet. But they all can figure out just from context clues like, well, if no one else is talking, I'm not gonna be the first one to start talking. There's gotta be a good reason for it. And the movie just keeps going from there. And it uses the fact that this is New York, and people who can't people who are loud people, they're normally loud people.
Loud people in New York?
It uses the gimmick in every single scene as best as I could have come up with. Like, if you're trying to make a movie about not being able to make noise, they used it so effectively that it made the first movie almost look silly to me, where I'm like, wow, they really didn't use the gimmick to its fullest potential.
Mm-hmm.
But outside of the gimmick angle, it's just a really well-constructed movie. It's really well-directed. It's got great performances. It's shot beautifully. It's got a nice score. The thing that stuck out to me so much was the characters are so weird. I saw the poster for this, and it's Joseph Quinn and Lupita Nyong'o.
They were just like it names.
Yeah, sure. And it's like them like... So you're just like, okay, they're probably working downtown, and it happens, and it's like coworkers turn survivors together. Mm-hmm. Lupita Nyong'o is a terminally ill cancer patient living in hospice care. So she's going to die in a matter of like a month or two.
Okay.
She has like really no family alive, no connections. And she is on a field trip to the city with her hospice group to see a marionette performance.
Okay, here's your pig.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, what is this? What's happening?
Yeah.
And the outbreak happens. And so normal movie. It would be like, we gotta get to the evacuation boats. We have to save our family. We have to do this. Lupita Nyong'o is already going to die. She doesn't care.
It's a really interesting angle. I don't think I've ever seen like zombie movies have this.
Sometimes, but usually not from the get-go with your protagonist. And all she wants is pizza. Because she wants one more slice of this pizza from this place she went to with her dad when she was a kid before she dies. And she's like, well, I'm never gonna get another chance now. Aliens are invading. So she's literally going against the grain. Like, everyone's evacuating one direction. She's going the other direction. I think she's going to Brooklyn or Harlem to get pizza. That's the whole plot. And Joseph Quinn is like this lost businessman who doesn't have any family because he's from England. And he clearly has like PTSD. He went through something before we join up with him, and he's like not right. And he just starts following her, and they can't communicate about why he's following her because they can't talk. So he just keeps following her, and it becomes like a lost puppy, almost mother-son relationship. It's really complex and weird. It's not...
This is hilarious that we picked these two films to start
with. And then they just go, and he joins her to go get pizza.
Okay.
And it's this like beautiful, emotional, character-driven story that just happens to be set, and then it also has all the alien gimmick sound stuff going on against all this character stuff.
It's just
fantastic.
Let me like. That sounds fantastic. Do you feel like the actual aliens when they show up are well used?
Really well used.
Because that was something I didn't love about A Quiet Place. Like the gimmick, sure, and like the fact you have to stay quiet, but when the big claw monsters go,
they make them so scary. Okay. And they do it early. They do this really smart thing when the initial, they land on like asteroids. So New York feels like it's very much playing up like the post 9/11 footage. It's like dust clouds, no one knows what's going on. You haven't seen a monster yet. Usually in a post 9/11 type depiction, if it's a bombing or anything, people are already vulnerable. People are have lost limbs, people are in dire straits. That's usually enough harm to do to your characters. They start attacking them then. Like people are trying to recover from the dust clouds, and then the monsters start killing anyone that makes noise. People are crying because they're injured, they get killed by monsters. So it's like brutal. So I think it hurts this movie to be called A Quiet Place. Yeah. If this movie was the first one, or if it was unrelated, I think it would have done, I mean, it did well, but I think it would have had more staying power in the public conscious because it's such a good movie in its own right.
Yeah, I mean, I remember hearing some of the reviews coming out of people being like, "Oh, that was dumb. They didn't even know like fight the aliens, right?" Like, there's the movie guy reviews
because it's the pig guy doing it. A Quiet Place movie. I mean, it's not a perfect movie. It's not like the best movie I've seen in the last like couple of years by any means, but compared to my expectations, way better than I thought. Definitely worth watching. I highly recommend it. It's a fun. It's a really good movie.
Cool.
Came out of nowhere.
That. Good job, Pigman.
All right, so what's our next movie we're going to talk about where no one talks the whole time for some reason?
Funnily enough, one guy doesn't talk the whole time.
Okay.
For a pretty good reason. This is a movie I believe we've both seen. That's called Bring Her Back. This was the other picture that I watched to prepare for, and then you let me know you'd seen it as well.
Yeah, I think I texted you while I was watching it and said something like, "Well, I really sure hope they don't hurt these kids."
Yeah, so
I guess a bit of history. I want you to go into your spiel, but we have covered Talk to Me on the channel.
Yeah.
It was a video we did as a Green Takes. We were both pretty much on the same page that it was like amazingly done, but so messed up that it was hard to watch and hard to recommend to anyone.
Oh, yucky. I don't want to watch that again. I don't really want to talk about it that much. I don't want to think about it.
Which seems to be their brand, now that I've seen more of
This is
their
the same guys. These are the Philippou brothers,
Yeah.
former YouTubers. This is their second major film.
Yeah, in their new subgenre, I think we've coined as fuck you horror.
Yeah.
Or conversely, fuck your day up horror, either one.
Yeah.
So anyway, how did you feel about Bring Her Back then?
It certainly is in the vein of the first one.
Yeah.
Although on it, quite frankly, I think it improved on it in every way. I thought this was, I thought Talk to Me was very good. I agree, hard to recommend. And I think both of our kind of major gripe with it was that the second half was just kind of misery with not as much kind of plot or drive, which wasn't awful, but it was...
It teetered into misery porn.
It ran out of steam.
It was teasing that, yeah.
This, I thought, addressed that. I think improved in just about every way on that. I thought this was a brilliant film that is harder to make it through than Talk to Me.
Yeah.
It is more messed up and grosser.
Okay, you're just saying it improved on that, and I'm like, you don't mean that it improved on the make you feel bad, right?
More miserable, more gross. Funnily enough, I think this also shares a lot of DNA with another picture we covered called When Evil Lurks.
Yeah,
I think some of the visuals, Talk to Me was kind of gross. When Evil Lurks is like the most disgusting thing I've ever seen. And visually, with some of the gross out stuff, this is the marriage of When Evil Lurks and Talk to Me. And if that's not a sales pitch for a movie.
Is this my new sister and brother, Oliver? Oliver lost his family just like you guys.
So I do think we should set up what it's about.
Yeah, so this film is two step siblings. Their father dies, and then they're orphans, and then they get rehoused to this lady,
Sally Hawkins.
Yeah,
Shape of Water.
That's her. Yeah. Who is a little odd, and it's somewhat uncomfortable, and she's up to something. She's got another kid already there. There's our person who doesn't talk. There's this very very odd, weird looking child, and then it just kind of becomes a film about A very compelling mystery, again, I thought, of like, what's going on with this kid? What is this lady up to?
And we're not going to spoil what it's all about. The opening scene of the movie is a Russian VHS tape of people doing horrible torture to each other. You don't really know what it is, but you know that that's somehow related to our foster kid movie. So it sets the stakes pretty high pretty early on.
Listen, I gotta tell you a secret.
From a technical aspect, I think it speaks for itself. These guys are brilliant filmmakers. The direction, the pacing of the film, the way they shoot like disturbing images.
Yeah.
I think now that we've seen two of them, what jumped out the most to me is that these guys really know how to write kids.
Yeah.
Which is why the horror is so upsetting, is because you are watching terrible things happen to what feels like real children.
And this really took that up a notch. And that's kind of I would say that's the biggest thing that this film did, more than like, Talk to Me, the first little bit, I would watch just a show about these kids with nothing bad happening to them.
Right,
They were like
well-written Gen Z kids. Yeah.
This film, it was a horror movie before anything supernatural happened. Like, I was so invested, because they show up, it's like a 17-year-old boy and like a 12-year-old girl who's
14,
with something like that, with like a visual impairment. Foster mother makes it very clear that she didn't want the boy. They say that out loud. And just the way they shoot that 30 minutes of like the boy trying to like protect his little sister, but also
respect the foster mom.
And also just clearly being 17 and super traumatized. Like this, again, make no mistake, this was a horror movie before anything supernatural happened. Just the way that they made me feel for this kid was like a major step up from anything that happened in Talk to Me. And like that was depth. Like for YouTubers, like there was no special effects. This is just, you are just directing two children and an adult.
Yeah.
To be incredibly tense, and just that like hit me in the heart.
Probably the climax of that early stuff that's doing what you're talking about is like how they shot her taking them to their dad's funeral, followed up with her letting them get drunk, which is played almost lightly.
Yeah.
But the way they shoot it, it's this dark undertone of this woman should not be letting them drink, and it's those little. It's like a movie of escalating violence or escalating stakes, and it's these little steps of like boundary breaking. It's like, now we're gonna do this. Now we're gonna do this. How far can we go till you call social services? It's almost like they just keep pushing the envelope.
Doesn't it sound fun? You'll love it.
Some people believe the spirit stays in the body for months after death.
I really enjoy the kind of mythos that these guys have built. Because very similar to Talk to Me, they don't explain the supernatural stuff. It happens. It's kind of like one thing has snuck out of hell into the real world.
Yeah.
And they do a little bit more explaining of it in Talk to Me and kind of let you catch up to like, okay, it's not like a whole supernatural world, but it's also not like, there are rules, there's just a very defined thing.
It's like an isolated incident, kind of.
And this is very similar.
Great world building.
Yeah,
because they give you just enough to understand exactly what's going on by the end, but never enough throughout where you know. We always talk about we don't want to know the thing.
Yeah.
And this movie draws that out really nicely. Like, what is she actually doing? Like,
they never even fully explain it.
They never fully explain
you get it.
And there's all these little details that truly make what she's doing feel unique. You've seen movies that tackle this subject matter. Creepy foster parent starts doing weird supernatural stuff. You've seen it. But this movie has so many specific choices of things I've never seen. There's like a shot, I won't say what the reveal of this, but there's a shot that starts with the house cat doesn't have their tail.
Yeah.
The tail's been cut off. And it's like 30 minutes later that I was like, oh.
Yeah.
And the movie is full of stuff like that, and it never spoon feeds it to you. No. It's just so well written as like a tight, character-driven thriller. And then the gore escalates it to full-blown horror. I mean, the gore,
boy.
I did have to look away a couple times, particularly the table, or the knife scene. The knife scene, and I think a lot of people have to look away. I think
even the car scene for sure as well. Like
that's pretty tough.
It was not as gratuitous as When Evil Lurks, but it was as effective.
And I think there was a very clear point in this movie where I was like, they were about to do something. I'm not going to spoil anything, but they're about to do one more thing. At one point in the film, and I was like, if they go there, I think I'm out. I think it'll be too messed up, and I think the movie, I know you're trying to guess what it is, but I won't say it, we'll say it off air, but there's a moment where I was like, don't go there. If you go there, I think you've gone too far. I think you've jumped the misery shark. And they didn't. They pulled back at that final ledge where I was like, okay, there is a point to this movie.
Yeah.
There is a message, and they're trying to say something, and there is a theme. It is not just a movie about watching intense bodily harm to children.
Which there is a lot of that.
There was a point where I wasn't confident about that. And but then the movie got me back by giving me a real thing this movie's about and ending in a really solid spot as a narrative. And that was important because it was close to screwing it up.
It did dance around that. And you talked about the scene where they get drunk, and I was kind of feeling that way through a lot of that scene. It's set up to make you think something really horrible is gonna happen. Like, that's the Hereditary car scene. That's what's and I don't want to spoil anything, but like I was worried in a similar way that like they're gonna lose me here. Here's where it's gonna go really, really bad, and now just be misery porn, just flushing these characters down a misery toilet for the next hour. And it didn't do that.
Nope.
This movie was. I completely agree that it flirted with that, but stayed away and remained about something. And you were always with a protagonist who had like something to be doing. Which was good.
Yeah, that's true. Like the side quests the characters are doing give you something to hold on to.
And they were always doing like, you were with them, like, okay, now go get help, and they would.
Yeah.
It didn't like work.
Yeah.
But
It's like an angel. It's a beautiful angel.
We're weirdos.
yeah.
So we stayed all the way through and felt like this movie had meaning and it was saying something. We should put the disclaimer out that I think a lot of people at 25 minutes will be like, oh, I'm out. Like, our bar for bowing out is a lot higher than other people's, and this movie is disturbing enough that, again, I'm not going to recommend this openly to everyone to go see.
Yeah.
You need to curate this.
Make no mistake, this is one of the most disturbing movies that's ever been made that's still about something.
Yes.
Like, top
and it's
5.
for horror weirdos.
Yes.
It is not to tell your parents they should go watch it, but if you can stomach it, there's an incredible movie under this, and these guys are not in my like top 5 favorite directors, but if you, just because they're relatively new, like this is only their second film, they haven't reached that GOAT, conversation yet. But if you ask me director that I'm excited about their next project the most, it might be these guys now. Because it's so
different.
Provocative. It's just like all their movies are like, I gotta see what's in this one.
Yeah.
Like there's this real mystery to it. Like they're doing something and talking about stuff and showing us stuff no one else is. It feels like video nasties. Like it feels like I'm not supposed to be seeing it. I don't get that anymore.
Yeah, like there's something I was thinking about just recently actually, where in this movie there is ostensibly a zombie. It's kind of one of those things where they break the unspoken rule of if you have a zombie, it's gray, the blood is black, it's very rotted, it's in Uncanny Valley. Maybe this exists, but just having one that's like so like anatomically accurate is so upsetting. And it's kind of like what we've talked about with some of these films that have brought gothic horror up to modern standards, and you're like, oh, I get why that's scary. Like going from Walking Dead to this, you're like, oh, basically an animated corpse is
Actually
very,
really
very
disturbing.
upsetting.
Yeah, when your brain can't tell the difference.
Yeah.
I think these guys like finding a conventional horror trope, a conventional thing we've seen a million times, and presenting it in a way that makes you go like, what the fuck am I looking at? They did that with A Haunting, and now they've done it with a demonic possession film. And I think what's these guys' take on a vampire movie?
Yeah.
Like, what's that look like? I want to see them continue to explore genre within the horror space, put their freakish spin on it, and see what comes out, because these guys are doing stuff no one else is doing.
They're willing to push boundaries to a place where it's fresh.
Yeah, where I would assume a studio exec's like, nope, that's not going in. These guys somehow are getting them made, so God bless them.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun, and it just felt like
It's not a lot of fun.
no, that's so bad.
Your review on the box cannot be, it's a lot of fun.
All right, you got me.
We can bring her back.
Let's take a little break from horror.
Okay, I'm out of horror, so.
We'll talk about another movie where the rules are not defined and you have to figure it out for yourself, and that's a little movie called Friendship.
Hello?
Have you seen this?
I've not seen it.
Oh, you've not seen it?
No, enough people were tepid on it that I just kind of dropped down my queue.
And I'm joining the tepid team, but in a way that I want to talk about it, because I think it's more interesting that my review is neutral.
Okay, yeah.
This movie.
This did surprise me, that it didn't suck, but it wasn't great.
Yeah, so I think, like, as you can probably tell from memes and GIFs I've put in all of our videos and the editing, we are massive fans of I Think You Should Leave. We've both watched it.
A lot.
Oh my God, he admitted.
Like, it's the thing that our friends quote the most is I Think You Should Leave. It's become part of our vocabulary. It's like, if people say a certain thing in public, I'm thinking of I Think You Should Leave quotes in my own brain. That
all the time.
It just happens.
Free.
It's changed our brains. It rewired our brains. It seemed to happen to a lot of almost 30-something white men when they watch this show. I don't know.
He just tapped into some niche.
He did something.
Yeah.
The guys at Spectrum think I'm just some dumb hick. They said that to me at a dinner.
And they took him and gave him a movie.
You all accepted me way too fast. You can't do that. You made me feel too free. People need rules.
This movie, when I was watching it, I didn't love it.
Okay.
And I watched it with Julia, and Julia summarized this perfectly when we finished it. She's like, it was like I Think You Should Leave, but there was no jokes. And it is like that. The whole movie, you're like, you want it to be funnier, or you want them to like arrive at a punchline or do something, and they don't. It's like all the preamble, when I Think You Should Leave has a scene start, and they're having like normal conversations, and then there just isn't a joke 90% of the scenes, and then it just kind of like has to, and they also can't cut the bit.
Right.
Like I Think You Should Leave always cuts right as
snappy,
right as it reaches the tension of climax, but it's like, it couldn't possibly go on from here. But this like has to just keep going because it's a movie. So it didn't work for me when I was watching it. It was just kind of like, there's some scenes I laughed at, there's some stuff I thought was funny, and then it ended, and for weeks, I can't stop thinking about this movie.
Okay, well, this is what happened with I think.
I know.
Very few of the I Think You Should Leave sketches were funny the first time I watched them.
And I think it's happening to my brain with friendship. It's never gonna be the same because it's not as funny. There aren't like those big jokes.
Yeah.
But there are these moments and these scenes in this that in thinking back on the movie are so funny and weird. It feels like a fever dream I had that I'm vaguely remembering. And I just can't stop thinking about it. And I keep, like I Think You Should Leave, I keep seeing things in life and at work or in, like, just in public, and I'm like, I'm thinking about the movie Friendship and how it's like this thing I'm seeing, and I like want to quote it, but it's even less quotable than I Think You Should Leave because like no one has seen this movie.
I can see the future. It's full of pals. I'm on the edge of life, and the view is gorgeous.
Like, to give you one example, there's this long build-up where he manages to get his wife lost in the sewers.
Okay.
He goes home, he doesn't tell his son, and then like later the cops show up, and this is one of the better like jokes in the movie, but the cops are like, they start questioning him and he's being very like standoffish, and they're like, where's the last time you saw your wife? And he goes, the sewers. And then the son goes, what? And then they like have to go to the sewers to find her. And then there is the actual like relationship conflict that would come out of that. Like she's really pissed and like wants a divorce because he left her in the sewers, and they play it like a drama. So it's like,
That's so weird.
the I Think You Should Leave sketch would end at she's in the sewers. But then they keep going, and there's like drama, and then she like,
the movie.
and then they like host a party they have to host, and it's like very awkward, and I'm just like, what is that? I don't know.
You should be dead, you psycho! Who are you? Give me a second chance. Get to know me.
It feels like a dream. I've never seen anything like it. I didn't really like it when I watched it. Can't stop thinking about it. Now I want to watch it again. I want other people to watch it to help me figure out if it's good. If you like Think I Should Leave, you should watch it. Help me figure it out.
Okay. I like it
That
back
would
on the
really-
list as like an archaeology project.
It is. It's an experiment to watch this movie. Don't go in just thinking it's going to be a funny I Think You Should Leave movie, because that ruins it.
Okay.
You need to go in thinking this is like an experimental
Well, that also
nightmare.
ruins I Think You Should Leave. Go because whenever I show it to a new person, I'm like, it's so funny. Like, it's not.
Yeah. It's funny when you watch it 3 times and then you joke about it with your friends.
Yeah, it's like when you remember this sketch in 2 weeks, you'll laugh.
Yeah, exactly.
And you quote it.
That's
but-
kind of this movie if the accessibility was way worse.
There's your jacket quote.
Anyway, I don't know if I'm recommending it. I think it's more like a plea. I'm like, watch it and then help me figure out if I like, hate, or actually am indifferent about this movie.
They might literally make that a jacket quote. Help me, come watch it and help me figure out if it's good. Reed McLaughlin.
There's a new Marvel out that's supposed to be nuts. We should go see that.
So I'm also going to venture out of horror, and I'm going to talk about a fairly quaint little film that's out of my normal lane, but that I really enjoyed, called My Old Ass. So this is a film, the big get is Aubrey Plaza, and the premise of the movie is that it is a 18-year-old girl on summer break before she goes off to school who is out in cottage country, does a bunch of mushrooms, and meets her 40-year-old self.
Hey, freak. Who are you? Elliot. Dude, I'm you. You're me. What's up?
This was it's a fairly simple, quaint little story, and it really is just these two characters interacting, but it's very compelling. It's a lot of fun. It's kind of time travel, but it's a flavor of it that I have not seen often, if ever, right? It's not Back to the Future. There's not time loops. It's literally just Aubrey Plaza shows up, and even she doesn't like get the rules.
Okay.
So like her younger self is like, what do I? And she's like, I don't think I should tell you. I don't know.
Right. Okay.
And like neither of them really get what's happening. And then like they separate, and then she finds out that she can call her, like she can call her older self on the phone, and so they just kind of like chat. Okay. And it becomes this very like stripped down, simple thing of, and it's a coming of age film very much, of just them chatting with each other and kind of just like examining their life and having the conversation about what's it going to be like when I'm 40. They sprinkle in tiny little bits of like the future world building. Like you never go to the future, but Aubrey Plaza talks a little bit about what life is like as just like a employed person in Toronto in whatever it is, like 2040.
Right.
And that's actually really compelling.
That's
it's just
neat.
a couple of little bits, and you're just like, oh yeah, that's...
Because the lazy thing is you set this in 2004, and
Yeah.
then you have future self be now. So you don't have to worry about that, right?
Exactly, yeah. But no, they do that. And then, so that's kind of the first hour and a half, and I don't want to talk much about the ending other than to say I wept. In a way that I have not since, outside of Boromir's death scene, movies don't get me like this.
Wow.
I
was going to ask if it reached an emotional peak for you, so that's funny.
Yeah, this movie gets you. If you need a good cry, this is the film for that. I can say that as a man who does not do that very often.
Okay.
So that was really, really, really solid. I also loved the lead, and apologies, I don't know the actress's name. She's 18. She, kind of similar we talked about with the other one, with Bring Her Back. This was just a really well-written 2024 18-year-old.
Okay.
And one of my favorite lines, at some point, she goes, "Oh my God, am I straight?" And it's just like I think that just sums up, like that landed for me. That was
Right.
like, it felt true to the character and was really funny. And I think that was just a good example of how like, this was not a super easy character to write, of like someone who actually rings true as an 18-year-old now,
Right.
growing up now. So clearly this was someone that is like around youth,
Yeah.
and gets it. And it was just someone who really kind of had a story to tell. And yeah,
That sounds great.
this is a fantastic throw it on with your girlfriend or your parents movie. I enjoyed it way more than I've enjoyed a lot of similar stuff. So strong recommend.
Can we kiss? No.
What? Can I at least touch my old ass?
Oh my God, you need to be locked up.
I have a little film from our old good friend Alex Garland, Warfare.
Oh, I
Never heard of this? Really?
No.
Okay. Well, the last Alex Garland film with the word war in the title, you didn't really like, Civil War.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
You didn't love. I mean, I gave it an A+, so
Yeah,
you definitely
fair.
didn't like it.
I didn't
You didn't
like
like
it
it that much.
Yeah, I
So
didn't
it's
like
interesting to go back, but he's a filmmaker that outside of that one, I think we pretty much unanimously
Banger
both
after
liked all
banger,
this stuff.
yeah.
Ex Machina is one of your favorite films.
So is Annihilation.
It is based on true events of this conflict that happened in Iraq. It's like the war in Iraq, and it's based around these US soldiers, and it was apparently this very notorious event. It was like a lot of casualties happened, and it was like a really big blunder, and I think made like news headlines, so it was like an infamous real war event. What makes it unique is it's actually co-directed and co-written with Alex Garland by a US war vet who was there.
Oh.
And they he was like really involved, but they brought over a number of the other surviving veterans from this conflict and had them all corroborate a story.
Oh.
And the movie is shooting it in real time, as accurate to the events as possible. So like where characters navigate through the space, who says what when, is all actually what they said happened. There's no script making here.
Oh.
It's supposed to be the real events, and when I say in real time, there's I don't know if it's the literal beginning of the movie. I think it's like there's an opening scene, and then after that, everything is happening in real time. So if they say we're moving here in 10 minutes, it happens 10 minutes later in the movie. Like the whole movie takes place over the 90 minutes in real time.
Oh, crazy.
So it's like this brutally realistic depiction of this real event, which could sound super boring because there's a reason that we make cinema. But with Alex Garland directing it and this particular story in reality being very cinematic, it really worked. It has no movie-ness to it. Things don't happen when it feels like they should. Escalations happen when they would in real life, like when there's no warning. There's no movie moment. There's no big hero making a sacrifice. There's none of these things.
I remember
it's just the events.
Lone Survivor that came out like 10 years ago caught a bunch of heat because it was just all nonsense. The movie was just, is it the opposite?
I guess it's the opposite of that.
It was like a real thing, but then they just turned it all into a movie and changed everything that happened.
Yeah, this is the opposite. It's the real events, and because it's Alex Garland, I think you need a great writer-director to make this work. He shoots these real events, but makes it feel so gripping. There's a whole sequence early on where he's giving just like a walkie-talkie update back to headquarters of like their whole sit rep for the day. Like we moved here, saw a man do this, then we moved here, did this. This guy moved. We have this much water left. They do the whole thing. Like the actual update, which I've never seen in a movie, and I didn't know how boring and long it was. And everyone else is just sitting and listening because that's what they had to do in the moment.
Yeah.
But the movie makes it gripping because you're also learning information and you're only understanding half of it, and you're like, what does that mean for... So it becomes this really... It's like a thriller. Because it's almost like, because you can't count on your movie knowledge for when things are supposed to happen, it's so much scarier because it's like any moment things can go wrong. And there's this slowly ratcheting tension that's done very organically as people start kind of noticing them in the town. They start to get more notoriety. They start to like see people looking at them. And
You're describing the experience of moving from like Call of Duty to Tarkov, and I'm finding that very...
Yeah, sure, that's a good example. It's just really well done. It has a great cast. It's like Will Poulter, Joseph Quinn.
I've never seen Joseph Quinn in something, and now he's just everywhere.
Yeah, he's also in the Quiet Place one. It's I need to put his name up here, but it is the main kid who plays Bear from Res Dogs. He plays like the main character.
Oh, okay.
It's just expertly done, and I think that's something that it can be complicated as a movie fan with war films is that they're inherently political and like
hard to avoid. Yeah.
Can be propaganda, and like even great war films usually have an agenda. And I think it can be complicated glamorizing military. Like even veterans sometimes don't like the movies that glamorize stuff because it's not real and it can feel unfaithful to their experiences. There's a million...
In the last 15 years, that's become very hard.
Yeah, especially because a lot of the more recent wars are very controversial and they're very recent. So it's not like doing a World War II film. It's like there's people alive that are actively going through the aftermath of this. This movie I was nervous about this going in, and it sidesteps it by making it real. There's no propaganda element.
Commentary.
There's no agenda. It's just a story. It's just an amazing story that actually happened about these men. It doesn't paint them as... it paints them as heroes in that a lot of them paid this ultimate sacrifice, but it doesn't paint them as heroes in the way a Saving Private Ryan does.
Yeah.
There's no hero moments. They just actually did this, and it's just this slice of life that happens to take place during war. And it's brilliant. I was gripped. It's really hard watch, as you can imagine, and when things do go wrong and it's this brutally realistic, it can be a challenging watch. And I would say, I was curious. I looked at some like discussion online, subreddits of veterans that were like really happy with how realistic this was, but a lot of them said I can't really watch it because like it literally brought me back too much.
Good thing to have.
So I think that's a reasonable warning for anyone. If you have that experience, or if generally you don't like war films, this is like the most real one you've maybe have ever seen. But if you can stomach that, it's a great film technically. Doesn't really feel like it has a political agenda other than just telling this very specific story. And
Why
it
don't
does
they get Will Poulter and Joseph Quinn in 2025 and do that with them?
I know.
Because like that could,
And
that just might just be the next.
And
Marvel
it's weird
movie.
for Alex Garland to do this. Like he's such an original script or like screenplay based on book guy to do this real event with no sci-fi element.
Yeah, I mean, clearly he's just on some war thing now. I don't know
Yeah.
if he's like, it's like a political thing or if he's just become fascinated
And
with
I mean,
it.
there is a message to this. The final shot of the movie kind of lingers on a lot of the civilians that were impacted by it. So there's definitely, it's saying something, but it's not like rah war is good. It's not, I've seen a lot more forced political agenda in a lot of films. So it's kind of like by avoiding that and just letting you enjoy it as like a story that this actually happened and these complex characters navigated this thing. I really enjoyed it, and I highly recommend checking it out. It's probably one of my favorite Alex Garland films, even though he did so little. Like, because it's it's interesting to see him tackle something so minimalist after seeing such grand sci-fi from him.
Well, it's kind of the thing, is that like that's almost more impressive just because you have so much less space to get it right.
Yeah.
Like you can't gloss over anything. You've got to, like, any screw up is, you really screw up.
Yeah, and you're going to offend a lot of people, and people are going to know you did it wrong. And it's interesting. The filmmaking's so brutally realistic and matter of fact. And then there's one scene where a bomb goes off, and the character we're with is concussed, like brutally, and wakes up unconscious after some time. And that's the only scene that I think he really allows himself to be more experimental. The way they shoot the perspective of a concussed person goes into not surrealism, but the audio, the way they do the noise and the way they shoot it is like trippy. And it really worked. And it's the only time they allowed themselves to go into that space, and it made sense in the context of the movie.
Right.
So just a lot of really great choices like that through the whole thing. And
Cool. I like when they can kind of find those opportunities.
yeah.
Nice.
Warfare.
Warfare. So we're gonna pull all the way out of the misery vortex and do another. This one's just like a really fun one. Another kind of family movie. This one is called What We Did on Our Holiday. So this is it's a English film. David Tennant and Rosamund Pike are a married couple who are taking their 3 kids from London up to his father's estate in Scotland for his 90th birthday. The film kind of happens in 3 acts. The first act, David Tennant and Rosamund Pike hate each other. They are not like terrible people, and it's not like Adam Sandler and his wife, like, oh, I'm sick of her. It is like they have completely fallen out of love and are doing their best to like be mature, but clearly just like can't stand each other. So you spend the first act of the movie where they're kind of your main characters and the kids are just in the back seat. And it's tense. Like it's interesting to watch for sure. Because obviously they're both like incredible actors, really charismatic, fun to watch. But and just kind of watching them like snipe at each other. This whole thing feels very much like a play.
Okay.
And especially with kind of the act structure. Because the second act, they get up to the castle. The father is played by Billy Connolly, who's very famous. I don't know much of his work. I've seen like some of his stand-up. I saw like The Odd Thing.
The Hobbit.
Yeah, there you go. But he's a very well-regarded guy.
Yes, I think a big stage actor too.
And this, he's brilliant. So, and then your second act, he takes the kids to the beach, and they go off on their own little thing, and you kind of ditch the parents. And honestly, it was very well timed because they get pretty grating by this point.
Sure.
And you get to spend the kind of the middle part of this movie with these 3, and the kids are pretty young. There's something like 12, 8, and 6. Like they're pretty young. And they're very well done, like all 3 of them, and you get to spend time with Billy Connolly as like this absolutely wonderful grandfather character that like you all know, like he reminded me a lot of mine.
Okay.
He's like so funny, and just the way that he interacts with like his son, David Tennant, and like the wife and the grandkids is just, it's just an absolute treat.
I don't think that...
You need to live more and think less. Oh! Well done! I've been trying to hit that for years.
So the second act you get to go spend with the grandfather and the kids, and they just go off on this little adventure together. That's just like absolutely heartwarming.
Okay.
And then the third act, I can't really talk too much about. They all get back together, and everything kind of like slams back together for the 90th birthday party. This was a film that was really made by someone who had a story to tell. Someone saw something here. This is, on the surface, I kind of said it, this could be an Adam Sandler movie, right? Like this is a lot of very kind of classic, typical, like, okay, we get it.
Like a Lifetime
stuff.
movie even, yeah.
Exactly, but I mean, part of it's definitely the performances. There's really a lot of high caliber acting right here, but this was someone who really kind of saw something just in the way that these relationships are set up and these characters are interacting with each other, and it's why it feels more like a really good stage play than it does a film, because it's really very fresh. And I think one of the better examples is definitely the parents and the way that they interact with each other, which is just, again, it's not something I've seen a ton of, which is like, this is not a movie where they're like, will they, won't they? And it's not a movie where like, I've got to get away from my horrible, and it's funny seeing Rosamund Pike like typecast now after Gone Girl.
Yeah.
But this is very much like two people that are fine people and are just absolutely miserable in this relationship and like hate each other.
Interesting.
And are just trying to put up with it and doing their best around the kids and like fucking it up sometimes. And even the kids are like flawed. They're like precocious little kids but they're rounded characters and they feel very real. And just every interaction between all the people just feels so well thought out that this was definitely written and made by someone, like I said, who just kind of had something to say about these characters and about this experience. I don't know if it's like totally personal to them and they based it on their own family. I didn't really want to know, because this just felt so like whatever the opposite of cynical is. just so like organic and well thought out and purposeful, and it's just a little treat to kind of get to know these characters and like be just kind of a part of the family for a little while. And then you get into some stuff towards the end. I didn't bawl, but there is some very strong emotional payoff in this. There's some really excellent scenes with the kids. We've talked about some very bad stuff happening with kids in some previous movies. This is not that.
So the kids fare better in this than Bring Her Back, you say?
Yes, the kids fare, they're better off. So if you need to cleanse your palate,
so
after Bring Her Back.
We should leave our children with Billy Connolly, not Sally Hawkins.
Correct. Yeah.
Right.
Oh, Jesus.
This is that firmly in the category of you throw it on with your wife, your girlfriend, your parents, right? It's a very inoffensive, all can enjoy movie, but I really felt like it punched above its weight class given all that. And for being very much just like, you scroll past it on the list of like it looks like an AI generated poster.
I love movies that accurately portray complex relationships, but those movies are often not ones you click on.
Exactly.
Because it's like, how do I know that this one will have good relationships and won't just be boring when they don't have like a hook? So it's nice. I think these types of films are great ones to be recommended, even more than the other ones we've talked about. Because it's like, no, of all the ones that look like that one, here's one that's actually pretty good, you know?
I'm also just a sucker for Scotland. I mean, you drive something up there and you're driving around the hills and it's literally a castle in the Scottish countryside. Like, I mean, come on, that's just a good time to hang out.
Avery just weeps in Scotland. Everyone knows that.
They say it about me. So that's what we did on our holiday. Great film. Check it out.
The water won't be cold, will it, Grandad?
It's only the North Atlantic. Why on earth would it be cold?
It's freezing!
We have always danced around Star Wars on this channel. We've talked
I've never
about,
seen it. No one buys that.
We've talked about Star Wars in the context of other films. We've never actually talked about a Star Wars thing, probably largely because not a lot of Star Wars has been worth talking about for a very long time.
And everyone else has already talked about it all anyway.
Yes. And I do want to talk about Andor today. We're gonna pop our Star Wars cherry. You actually told me I should talk about Andor.
I did. I've heard you talk about it. So for reference, I've seen season 1, not season 2. Not particularly concerned about spoilers, but I've heard you talk about it, and I think it's worth putting to film.
I think to briefly talk about, I have kind of a weird relationship with Star Wars. I was a Star Wars kid. I loved Star Wars growing up.
Remember the video, the lightsaber? That was really
Yeah, I was basically a lightsaber kid. I had the toys, Star Wars Lego, Star Wars video game, Star Wars poster, watched the movies a million times, go to Star Wars in theaters for my birthday if possible. Huge Star Wars kid growing up, I absolutely loved them. But I think I engaged with Star Wars even as a child differently than other people, because I think I always knew it wasn't good. I never put it on a pedestal. I was never like, everyone's gotta love Star Wars. Everyone's gotta see it. And I feel like that's what a lot of Star Wars geeks are like, is like, they think they know the truth. I'm like, to put it in Green Corner speak, Star Wars pretty consistently would have extremely high personal scores and mid to low critical scores.
Yeah.
It's kind of across the board.
Empire's like an AA minus, nothing else.
I think Empire's like a perfect movie, but outside of that, there's nothing that I put on that high pedestal. Even 4 and 6 are amazing for the time, and they're good movies, but they're not, I don't put them up as like, you must watch
There was a lot less good sci-fi back then.
Yeah.
It was the best sci-fi as of 1980.
It was, right. But I'm not going to tell someone in the current year who has never seen Star Wars, you must go watch Star Wars. I just don't think it holds up. You need to have the nostalgia. And I think Star Wars is a roller coaster ride. When Martin Scorsese said this about Marvel, he said Marvel aren't film, they're roller coaster rides. Everyone online's like, Martin Scorsese's an old cranky man, he's crazy. I'm like, he's right.
But he's right.
He's right. It is a roller coaster ride, but that's not a bad thing. And Marvel, and this applies also to Star Wars, is just, for me, a series of highs. If I decide I really want to see Anakin and Obi-Wan have a lightsaber fight, I'll put on episode 3. And the rest of it, I can go to the bathroom for. But you have that build up, and there's those moments, the Anakin lightsaber fight. Pod racing scene amongst a terrible film is amazing.
Yeah, it's fun.
Even episode 6, which is not one of my favorite Star Wars movies of the original trilogy, the Vader and Luke confrontation with the camera panning left and the score kicks in the throne room. The Star Wars is just this series of moments, these peaks of emotional highs conjoined by bland, get you the next thing kind of movie making. At least that's what it's become. 4, 5, 6 have a lot more consistency, but that's what I feel Star Wars has become.
Yeah.
I think it's what Marvel is.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's bad. I just think that these movies are only popcorn movies. They don't exist as high art. They exist as fun roller coaster rides. So all this to say, I think what makes Andor unique, this is probably where you're gonna think I'm gonna be like, and Andor isn't that. Andor's just a well-written show. It's not, it's still Star Wars. It's still a roller coaster ride. But the difference is that instead of the roller coaster drop being an Anakin and Obi-Wan lightsaber battle, it's like Mon Mothma giving an incredible speech to the Senate.
Yeah.
But it makes my brain feel the same way as a child I did watching a lightsaber fight.
Yeah.
It's like it's updated the Star Wars formula of these incredible peaks from being a pod racing scene to being like a slowly ratcheting tension that echoes France in World War II on Gorman. And it turns it into these like Star Wars moments that are constructed out of like real world drama that don't rely on you to like Star Wars. But this pattern is the same. It makes you feel the same, but it's updated for like adults.
Yeah.
And then the really important thing is that the connective tissue is not get you there storytelling. It's really well written scenes with good characters that get you to these peaks.
Yeah.
So everything, it's the best Star Wars, it might be the best Star Wars thing ever. I think the only thing you could argue might be better is 5. But I think Andor, if you exclude 5, is so far above everything else available in Star Wars that it's not really close. You could just watch Andor and not watch any other Star Wars, and I have recommended it.
We are running this experiment. My fiance has never seen a single minute of Star Wars, and we've just started Andor, so I'll report back.
And our friend, who has never seen Star Wars and generally isn't a big geek about stuff like we are, watched Andor as his first Star Wars thing and loved it so much that now he is watching the movies, but only on the back of his love for Andor. So I think Andor is a really special TV project. I don't want all Star Wars to be this.
No.
There is an
like collapse under the weight.
Yeah, and also like it shouldn't be. Star Wars is it's for kids, and this is like the adult Star Wars. But the fact they did this and it's done, it's this confined, perfect 2-season arc that still feels like Star Wars, but is like an important adult show.
Like
I just don't know how they did this. It blows my mind, and I absolutely loved it.
It's like the meme of the horse, where it's like really well drawn, and then because like if you just look at the timeline of Star Wars, it's funny in the conversation of like this should be the first thing you watch. I almost just want to tell my fiance like stop there, because I genuinely think Andor gets worse if you see all these like incredible emotional moments and sacrifice and like these conversations about like, we have to fight, and it's in service of CGI Princess Leia. It's like, oh.
Yeah. Or then you get to like Starkiller Base, and you're like, they could just build another one? Like, what about all the
It's almost
rebels?
like the Matrix sequels, where like it deflates it. It's like, oh man, like these guys died for that.
I've thought a lot about this, and I've resigned myself to what Andor has given us is that Andor to Rogue One, which I do think is a great companion piece. CGI Leia looks like crap, but Rogue One is a really nice cap off to the Andor show. And then New Hope is just a good movie, even though it's really dated.
Yeah.
You can just watch Andor to New Hope, And that can be Star Wars if you want it to be. And everything else is like fun fan fiction. I even like the sequels. I like 7 and 8. 9's a fucking disaster. But I like all Star Wars, but if I'm being critical, now we have a complete story from beginning to end of these little rebels rising up to defeat the Empire that works as a confined story arc.
Basically just up to the Ewoks.
Yeah, and then you're like,
If you just cut out the Ewoks, you can get right up to the second
Well,
Death Star.
unfortunately, Empire kind of also doesn't work as a tag on. I'm saying Andor
Fair,
to New
fair,
Hope
fair.
as a little arc up to the Death Star blowing up. The story
Okay.
of blowing up a Death Star is now a perfect slice of Star Wars media amidst a sea of mediocrity.
You're slipping.
I'm not slipping. I've just been hiding for too long.
Every article online is like, Andor's the best show in all time. You have to go watch it. So I'm not just going to glaze the qualities of it. Obviously, it's brilliantly made.
Yeah.
But I think the important thing is that it works as a Star Wars show and a good show. It's both.
I also just think it's so funny how many Star Wars projects have been announced and how this was literally the only one I can ever remember where everyone's like, who?
Yeah, I'm like, oh, that's going to suck.
It's like, I remember that year stretch where they're like, we're making a Han Solo movie, we're making a Boba Fett show, we're making like
We're getting Ewan McGregor back for Obi-Wan. I'm like, how could you fail?
It all sucked. And then they're like, remember like the fourth most interesting guy from the least popular movie?
Yeah, we're making a slow burn drama with that guy from the director of the Bourne trilogy.
And then they're like, let's get Stellan out here. And I'm like, sold.
Yeah. Anyway, watch Andor. It's like, even if you hate Star Wars, you'll love Andor, and you can stop there. It's just an amazing. It's the best TV that's come out in many years, in my opinion.
Wow.
It's not perfect. The first 3 episodes of both seasons are a bit slow, but overall, you don't get TV like this anymore.
Nice.
Damn good.
And you know what, Reed? I'm gonna wrap this up with just one more thing. I had watched another film that I had intended to talk about, and I'm gonna talk about it here. Watched a film called The Phoenician Scheme. It's a Wes Anderson movie.